Well, we weren't expecting much from the Cavaliers in the first round of the NBA draft, so by golly, nobody was disappointed. How about that?
Oh, was there a draft last night?
There was no disappointment, Andy.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I have FOMO. I always want them to pick somebody. I mean, I was kind of excited there for about, I don't know, fraction of a second when I thought they were taking Caravan. I thought it was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I was like, oh.
Well, you knew they were trading him.
I know.
That was coming up.
Shams.
No?
Yes.
As Chris Fedor talked about with us yesterday.
Chris told us too yesterday.
Trading out of the first round. Why? No guaranteed money in the second round. Guaranteed first-round contract. Last thing the Cavs need, more guaranteed money, especially for a guy taken at 29 where you keep your fingers crossed and hope that guy actually becomes something for you. Maybe he will, maybe he won't.
You know, it's basketball karma, right? It's all basketball karma. Because they had to put the full screen up with Caravan and the Cavs logo, knowing that it's wrong. I don't know how you could live with yourself doing that. I don't know how the commissioner can walk up to the podium knowing that there's been a player has been traded. This is a violation of the Stepien rule. Sad.
A lot of things I want to talk about the draft.
That's not one.
Some of the that's not really, but some of the little silly stuff that happens in it. Like for instance, if you ever listen to Adam Silver talk, Adam Silver sounds kind of like this, and then when he announces a pick with the 14th pick in the NBA draft,
he does go up an octave.
Oh my
God,
you're right.
What
is he doing?
I think he's just nervous.
It goes up half an octave.
Jeff, can we agree? The NFL draft the NBA draft is the wannabe to the end. They can try to do as many tricks as possible. They can try to make it as exciting as it is. It's everlasting burned in my head. When Kyrie got picked by the Cavaliers, I was in Jersey for that. And to me, it was so underwhelming. And the difference between that, even in the COVID year when the draft was here for the NFL, that was awesome. Even though, people weren't in full force and the weather was ridiculously bad, that was a lot of fun. Going to, we were at Continental Arena, was what it was called at the time, in Jersey. It was like going into a comedy club with two stages that were up there for the TV crews, and then they just had a big board in the background. I don't know. There's something about it. It's just like it's a wannabe compared to the NFL. That said, it was a good draft for players. There were a lot of really, really good players that went last night. At least that's what we think they are. We don't know what they're going to be until they hit the floor. So,
I wasn't surprised they traded out. When you're sitting there watching the draft, you get intrigued by guys who were passed over 28 times. You know what I mean?
You do. Yes.
Well, no,
you love that stuff, though.
It doesn't mean these guys are going to be any good. I don't mean to sound nasty about these young men because you never know who's going to be good and who's not. And, sometimes you get guys late in the second round, Manu Ginobili, who become terrific players. Nikola Jokic earlier in the second round become unbelievable players. That happens. It could happen again. Somebody from the second round will become a really good player. Maybe the Cavs end up with that guy. But you just kind of start talking yourself into people and guys and things and everything else going on in the NBA draft. I think if the Cavs are going to do anything of major significance, we knew it wasn't going to be in the draft. They weren't in position to do it. They're not financially in position to do it. It's going to have to come in the offseason here after the draft and probably involve a big trade involving one of their star players if they do such a thing, Andy. And after what happened in the draft last night, almost kind of makes you think that you might need to do something like that. Because I think teams in the Eastern Conference helped themselves last night.
I feel like the entire Eastern Conference got better. Now the question is how good are we? And if they roll this back exactly the same, what's this team going to be compared to some other? The thing about the draft, though, it's more about the trades, I think, than it is about the draft. Because the draft, you still need a year or two before some of these guys, a year or two, 3, 4. Towns was, how many years ago was Towns the first overall pick? It's been forever, right? And so finally he got something done this year. So, sometimes it takes time.
It takes a team,
for
too.
these guys. Yeah, you got to make sure you have the right guys around you,
It takes a team. So that's all part of it. The Cavs are left now after the trade with the 34th pick in the draft, which means they'll be picking 4th tonight in the second round. In theory, you can get a player at that point in the draft who might be able to come in and be a rotation player for you at some point. You know, they're still trying to work in Jordan Tyson, and he was a first-round pick. Everybody says this draft, deeper, better, guys who were kicked down into the 20s would have been lottery picks before, blah, blah, blah. You hear that like crazy. Okay, that's all well and good. We hope that's the case.
There have been some good players selected in this pick. I mean, Boozer was, 34, 35, somewhere in there.
Carlos was a second-round pick.
Yeah, he was right around the same spot. I'm just a little dive. Jay Crowder, Mario Chalmers.
Oh,
there have been guys who have contributed that have been drafted in
this.
the yeah,
who become good NBA players, and the Cavs might be in a position to get one of those.
You kind of have to wonder how many of the guys that we'll see now in the first couple, especially the first couple picks, could have been first-round picks, but you know, teams are kind of like, do we want to give them the guaranteed money? Right? That seems weird, doesn't it? Like if you want I don't know. They moved out of it last night because they didn't want the guaranteed money. Like money changes what you want. I don't know. It's just. Do you understand the inherent problem with that? That if there was a better player that could help your team immediately, I'm sure if there was a better player they would have taken the pick. Right? Right? They had to believe that.
In their situation, Andy, player or
relief,
financial burden. You know, I mean, they're in the second apron. You don't need more guaranteed money on top of that.
No,
they're trying to clear the deck a little bit, and so I kind of get it. On the other hand, you don't get better by just clearing the deck. You got to add talent, and if they thought there was talent there, they maybe should have taken somebody.
So, are you good with them not taking a pick last night? That's the question.
Yeah, I think I am. You know, they're. Let's be frank. No, or Andy or Jeff, or Meredith.
Yeah.
And you know, once you get past the surefire guys, you never know who's going to end up being really good. So, you know, like the Cavs traded the pick and Alex Caravan goes to Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to be a really good NBA player?
It's like they said last night,
I
though.
don't know.
Dude's a winner. I mean, he is a winner.
That's great. You know, is he an next Alex Caruso? You know, guy who just plays great basketball and wins. The next guy who went off the board, Koa Pete, forward from Arizona, I thought he might be an interesting guy to fit in with the Cavs, and he left, and 6'8" forward. You know, and this is kind of where you are. It's now guys that you think, well, I wonder if that guy's going to be any good.
It was interesting. A lot of people were saying that the Cavs were going to take Jefferson if you're looking at the mocks, and they missed him by one pick.
Right, and
so
that was
Ken
and Brooklyn's guy from day one. And he went one pick before the Cavaliers. There were guys there are guys who are still on the board who you think, could that be the guy? And the issue that I think you're going to have here, like Henry Vesar, is a 7-footer from North Carolina who played at Arizona for a couple of years, but really, really shined last year at North Carolina. Can do a lot of things. A big guy who can go out on the floor, shoot the three. He's good inside. He passes the ball really well. And I've thought the Cavs needed depth inside like crazy. He'd be a nice guy to add to the team. Problem is, the Knicks are sitting at 31, and they need the same thing. Knicks have the first pick tonight. I could see them just taking Vesar and add him to their front line. With Karl Anthony Towns, they're losing Mitchell Robinson probably in free agency. So they go get a big guy who can do a lot of things. That makes perfect sense for them. Grizzlies are at 32, Timberwolves at 33, and then the Cavs at 34. And a couple of other guys listed as the best players on the board. Baba Miller, kid from Cincinnati, who was at Florida State and Florida Atlantic. He's a 6'11" guy, and it screams, hey, Cavs need some size. He doesn't shoot very well, but he's really athletic. He actually handles the ball pretty well and rebounds, blocks shots. I think he'd be a nice guy to add depth to the front court. He could be there. Then you have a couple of guards who you think, all right, well, does this team need a guard? Malik Thomas is a kid from Arkansas. He's 6'3". How many 6'3" guards do the Cavaliers need? But he's one of the more highly listed guys left on the board. And then Isaiah Evans from Duke is a 6'6" guy who, from build standpoint, think of Wesley Person back in the day. Real slight 6'6" guy, but he shoots the three real well. And last year in his sophomore year, added some drive to the hoop action to his game and a little more well-rounded. I would think those two to three of those guys are going to be the first four guys off the board tonight. And I'll bet you the Cavs aren't able to get Vesar from North Carolina. I'll bet he's gone. Evans could be gone. Miller. And by the way, Baba Miller is Spanish.
It is?
Yeah, Miller. It's a real common Spanish name among the Amish community in Spain.
That is true. I mean, you never can get enough
Spanish Amish guys.
Spanish double roasted chicken.
Exactly right.
I mean, does it get any better than that?
Well, it's the pulled chicken and noodles. That's good stuff.
That double roasted chicken is so good.
Yeah, no, it's outstanding.
Oh.
I wonder who's going to be available, because it's going to be a big part of what the Cavs do tonight. Obviously, I wonder if they go off the board, and if there's somebody there of size like Vesar or Miller, and they don't take him, we're going to have something to talk about tomorrow.